Everyone, and welcome back to the channel and my last video for this year, releasing on today, December 31st. My quintessential new Scooby-Doo movies tier list. So this one is 2 seasons, a 16 episode and an 8 episode, similar to Where Are You? And this one will be my quintessential version, but also since it was a slower season, just letting you know that I didn't like it as much as Where Are You or the Scooby-Doo show, which appears before it. So a lot of these ratings were going to be more arbitrary, where basically if I felt like the comedy was outdated or just didn't really hook me, or a lot of the times it was from a 40s guest star appearing in a 70s cartoon, so I just didn't feel like they worked well, or I just didn't really know of them, is mostly the main thing. Is when I didn't know them, I noticed that I rated it a little bit lower. For people that I do know, I definitely rated it higher. I feel like, because I know their comedy better. So that's usually how it's going to go, where familiarity is going to be my biggest factor in how I rated these episodes from what I could tell going back and looking at it. So we're just going to do this one pretty, don't want to waste any time on this one, just to keep it nice and simple. So our first episode was Ghastly Ghost Town, which stars the Three Stooges. I like the Three Stooges in like the movies and stuff I've seen, but cartoon version, I feel like they didn't really fit well with the kind of overall part of that series. So I rated it a 1.5 on my score. I think that's a little harsh. I would probably do like a 3 if I was rating it now. Three Stooges, I think, is going to be D. I don't think it's as low as F. I think 3 or 4. There's definitely a little bit weaker episodes throughout, but I'm not going to change my ratings. This is kind of just the main guys. And then next, we have an episode that I really did enjoy, Dynamic Scooby-Doo Affair, which is our first appearance of Warner Brothers kind of next to each other, even though they weren't technically in that realm yet, which is, I rated a 6 out of 10. That's Batman and Robin with Penguin and Joker. I feel like they really suited that dynamic, as the title indicates, and they just such a fun one, and one where they do a lot of other superhero crossovers there down the line. And I rated that one a 6 out of 10. So for me, I'll probably give that one a B. I don't think it's my favorite, but definitely a B. And as we go as well, like last time we did the tier ranking, we will do like B1, B2, that kind of thing. And then next we have the Addams Family, one of those episodes that really, really suited the dark dynamic of Scooby-Doo that can get there, and also having so much different characters and things happening at once was really good. The only one really where I felt like the 45 minutes was definitely needed. It would have been great as a movie for real. But this one was such a good one and really suited the aesthetic of the show. Was the Wednesday Family. One of those ones where apparently it's pretty hard to find it, but we were able to. And just such a fun one, and one that I rated 6.5 out of 10, but I think it's going to be our first A, and just a good one. And then, like last time, S and A are usually ones we can go back and rewatch that we just enjoyed. B is kind of maybe a little bit, and then, down the line as well. And then the Freakert Fracas. This one was one where I had no idea about the comedian that was appearing in the show, but I feel like he really suited the tone of the show, which is why I rated it a 6 out of 10, one of my higher ratings of this season. In average, season 1 actually got a 4.66, so I think it ended up going only one below the Where Are You? It's only where season 2, those 8 episodes, where I really started getting annoyed with it, but the beginning parts are not too bad. So 6.5 for Freakert for a Cross. This is one where Jonathan Winters, I had no idea who he was, but I felt like his comedy and really suited the show, and how he played so many different characters, like the grandma and then the cousin and stuff like that. This is all based on memory, by the way. I just wanted to end this one pretty short, at least less than an hour from last time. So yeah, Jonathan Winters. I think I'm going to put him in as a 6 out of 10. I think I'm going to put him in B2. Because I don't think he's as good as Batman, but I think his comedy just really showed the show very well. And then somebody that I really didn't care for was Don Knotts. Guess who's not coming to dinner? Another one where, like I was saying, where I don't really get their kind of stick and just not really familiar with them. But I feel like it just really didn't suit it. And it keeps it fun by playing different characters. Like, I think he was the detective in this version with like the manner. It's supposed to be like a classic whodunit, but it was just a bit of a boring whodunit. It just didn't really grab me. I think for this one, I think the 2 is warranted. So the Three Stooges I would probably put at like a 2.5, but I think Not 2 Coming to Dinner was definitely warranted that too, and that's going to be my first F. I really didn't care for it. I think They had opportunity with the whodunit mystery and having the detective played by the famous person kind of helping them out. I feel like there was a really big disconnect right there. And then moving on, we have A Good Medium is Rare with Phyllis Diller. This is one that I really feel like she suited it. Another person, never even heard of, really suited the show for this. I rated it a 6.5, and I think I'm going to put her above. I'm just going off the heart, basically, but I think I would tie her up with Batman. Because I rated them both at 6.5, but I think Batman just had so much iconicness that happens later. But Phyllis Diller is definitely a good shot. So I could put her in the middle of Batman and Jonathan Winters. I really enjoyed her comedy and how she fit with the gang. And somebody that I really didn't feel like worked well was Sandy Duncan, Jekyll and Hyde, which I rated 2 out of 10. This was one where basically Sandy Duncan just becomes Daphne, essentially, and just felt a bit arbitrary and very forgettable. Rated a 2 out of 10. I think I would even like her less as a character in the story than Jonathan or Don Knotts, which is why I would put her in F2. I really didn't care for it, and I can't even remember much about what happened in that episode, to be honest, right now. And then The Secret of Shark Island, tied for one of my favorite episodes for the first season. That was just such a fun one. Sandy and Cher were great in this episode. I feel like they really had good comedy and they had good banter, which I really enjoy. Whenever you have guest stars, I think just having a little bit more characters really brings out the best of them, and just it was such a good dynamic between everybody that really suited the tone of the show. And just Sandy and Cher were fantastic. That's why I rated it a 7 out of 10, one of my favorites of the episode. I would probably put this one actually ahead of you know what? I think A2. Yeah, it was a good one. And then now we're back to Don Knotts, The Spooky Fog of Juneberry, where he's a cop this time, I believe. He was a detective beforehand. No, he's like a janitor or something, right? Local police officer. Okay, so he's like a local detective and then now a local police officer. I rated this one my lowest of the first season of 1 out of 10. Probably don't care for Don Knotts' comedy very much in these kinds of episodes. And for me, this one was definitely the worst of the worst. Actually, no, F, the way it works is that the ones you. Oh, no, that's the one you like the most. Okay, so I'm going to put Don Knotts right here. Like, this is just. I really didn't like this episode at all. It was, to say the least, it was garbage for me. People might have liked it, but for me, I just really didn't like it. It was just so forgettable. So, didn't really grab me as some of the other episodes. I feel like the villain wasn't very fun either. And then next, just to get through these, we have The Ghost of Bigfoot, which I rated a 3.5 out of 10, and that was Laurel and Hardy. So, a famous comedian duo, sometimes trio. But for me, it just didn't grab me as much as some of these other episodes are. Like another famous, group, like the Three Stooges, I rated a similar vein. I don't know, just that kind of comedy, I feel like just brings you out of Scooby-Doo. I feel like some of the more lighter stuff makes more sense, but this is kind of like self-deprecating, which is usually pretty funny. I like that a lot, but for the actual style of Scooby-Doo, it just feels like it brings you out of it kind of thing, which is a bit strange, especially since you already have Shaggy and Scooby that kind of do that vein. Having basically doubles of those characters a lot of the times just doesn't really do it for me, which is why I rated a 3.5 out of 10. I did like the villain on this one, just because he had a cool design, but the actual reveal of it was just a bit eh. But I did like, the design was cool, and that's pretty much what it has going for it. So I think I'm gonna put this one as D2. Because 3.5, kind of similar vein of these two people. I feel like there's a lot of the same shtick as what we already have in Scooby-Doo, but I feel like done at a lower level, to be honest. Going into it, to The Ghost of the Red Baron, we are back to the Three Stooges. I enjoyed this one a lot more. The villain was more fun. The Three Stooges brought up the comedy stakes a lot. Rated this one a 6 out of 10. And for the second Three Stooges episode, I feel like they really brought up a little bit more compared to the first episode, which is why I'm going to put this one as our first C. Even though it's 6 out of 10, I don't think it's warranted a B. I think a C would be a good one for this. And moving on, The Haunted Horseman of Hagglethorne Hall. I rated this one a 7 out of 10. This is the first one with the Harlem Globetrotters, I believe. Oh no, this is Davy Jones. Okay, so this is one just skipped ahead. Okay. Yeah, I try to rearrange them so it makes sense. Oh, I skipped one. Yeah, Ghostly Creep from the Deep. I rated a 5 out of 10. Yeah, so I skipped it myself. So 5 out of 10. Yeah, that'll stay in C. And then the next one is the Ghostly Creep from the Deep, which I rated a 6 out of 10. And that's the first one with the Harlem Globetrotters. So 6 out of 10. This one was fun. The season finale with the Globetrotters again is definitely better. But this one wasn't too bad. Um, yeah, I had a 6 out of 10. Just the Harlem Globetrotters just had such good comedy with the gang. That's why they're in 3 episodes for the new Scooby-Doo movies, and why they had their own cartoon, which was pretty fun. And then another Redbeard, the pirate, which was pretty interesting as well. Except this version's all white and recycled, but I feel like definitely a fun one and had some good comedy with the gang, like I was saying, which is why I rated it a 6 out of 10. And I think I'm gonna put them in B tier. Like I have to have the trilogy of Harlem Globetrotters up above The World So High. And The Haunted Horseman of Hogglethorne Hall. This was the one with Davy Jones. I rated it a 7 out of 10. I really liked his comedy with the gang. I feel like a single person does a little bit better, of course, until the second season. But I feel like his just sprinkling it in. Don't want to take over like Don Knotts does and stuff like that. And they just go to the tune of his own drum. This guy felt like it fit well. Another person, I had no idea who they were, but I feel like it worked well with the kind of dynamics. That's why I rated it 7 out of 10. I think I would put it low B behind these three guys because I feel like these ones were such strong episodes, even though it was still a 7 out of 10. And these guys were like 6.5s, but I feel like just much stronger. And then moving on, we have The Phantom of the Country Music Hall, a 5.5 out of 10. This one was Jerry Reed. This one kind of hit or miss for me on sometimes. I feel like it suited the tone of the show overall, but I feel like it also had some moments where I'm like, eh. So I rated it a 5.5. I would probably lower it to like a 4.5 or a 5. So it's probably going to be in the being D, but I did enjoy it. It's just a bit of a nothing burger for me where it just kind of didn't really swing here or there, which is good for some of these episodes that I rated where I rated them like 2s or 3s, but still just kind of right down the middle for me, which is why I would probably put it about, I think high D. I think it's better than these two that were just really didn't do it for me, but I don't think it's C tier. Then moving on, we have the Caped Crusader Caper. So this one was another Batman and Robin episode. Much, much worse than for me than the first one they appeared. I rated this one a 2 out of 10. I really didn't care for it. I feel like they really missed the mark on this one compared to the previous versions. And I feel like whenever you do 2 episodes with the same guys, you have to have both of them at the same level. And I feel like Dynamic Scooby-Doo Fair did it much better than the Cape Crusader Caper, which is why I rated this one a 2 out of 10 and why I think I'm going to put it in F. I really didn't care for it. It was probably going to be a high F because I enjoyed the characters so much, but it just didn't do it for me at all. And moving on, we have the season finale. The Harlem Globetrotters appear once again, and even in an even better episode. So their first appearance, I rated a 6 out of 10. This one, I rated a 7 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed it. They really brought their A game in this episode, and just such a good one. 7 out of 10. Harlem Globetrotters, I'm going to put right in the middle at B between Phyllis Diller and Jonathan Winters. I think Phyllis Diller still had some good times, and she had more, I guess you could say, development, even though she's just a voice actor for that episode being a single person. But the Harlem Globetrotters really I really enjoyed their dynamic and how they helped solve the crime with the Scooby-Doo gang. I don't think anything's going to touch these two, to be honest, just because I enjoyed these so much. Might be a bit scummy, but I think I'm going to put Sonny and Cher in high B. I think Wednesday is Missing is the only one that I really, truly like. The other ones I enjoyed, but there's definitely some moments here and there where I didn't really have them as my tops. And then moving on to season 2, we have The Mystery of Haunted Island, which I rated a 3 out of 10. So this is the last appearance of the Globetrotters and the end of their trilogy. And this begins season 2. I just really didn't care for this one. I feel like they really minused it. Season 2, I just really didn't. There was only 2 episodes I really kind of cared for. That's why I rated this one a 3 out of 10. I would probably put this one high F. Like, I think I liked it more than Batman, but still not as good. And then moving on, we have The Haunted Showboat, which I rated a 1 out of 10. This one, Josie and the Pussycats, another cartoon from Hanna-Barbera. It's a nothing burger. was pretty boring, to be honest. I can't even remember much about it, which is why I would probably put it right in the middle. Oh no, I think I'd probably put it at the bottom. And then the next one of my more controversial ones, I rated it a 0 out of 10. I think I would actually put it at a 2 out of 10 after editing it and rewatching my episode. I don't think it's people loved it. It's My Dream and Genie and Babu. I just feel like it's just such a weird, had a left field kind of style episode that it just really didn't hit me. That's why I'm gonna give it like a 1 out of 10. I'm probably gonna put it right above Josie and the Pussycats, but not by much. Then next we have the Spirit Spooked Sports Show, which I rated a 4 out of 10. This one was Tim Conway. I feel like another self-deprecator that I feel like he kind of clashed with Shaggy and Scooby. Still had some fun moments, but for me, just didn't really do it. Most of these don't really do it for me, but like season 2, I mean. So I think I would put this one at low D. I didn't really like it, but I don't think it's worse than F. And then next we have The Exterminator, which is Don Adams, which I rated 6 out of 10. Kind of like a dapper gentleman kind of style thing, which I enjoyed in the actual episode. So I think I'm gonna put this one again. Put him above right here at D2. I feel like he suited the show well and really brought a little bit of something for episodes that I actually liked. And then moving on, we have The Weird Winds of Winona, 6.5, which was the Speed Buggy crew. And this was a fun one because I watched Speed Buggy back in the day. This is my favorite episode of season 2. And why I think I'm going to put it in C, I'm going to put it above the Harlem in the middle of the Harlem Globetrotters right here. I feel like Harlem Globetrotters brought it more, but Speed Buggy crew, just such a dynamic duo. C1, I'm going to go with my heart. C1, very, very good. Then The Haunted Candy Factory. This one was with Cass Elliot. This is when we started back up the new Scooby-Doo movies, and just Cass Elliot, I don't really cared for her comedy in the kind of style that we went for. She had some funny moments for sure, but I feel like she's definitely one of the weaker ones, which is why I gave her a 2 out of 10. Just didn't really grab me. I think I'm gonna put her above Don. No, Sandy Duncan. I really didn't care for. I'm gonna put her down. And then last one, we have the main man himself, Dick Van Dyke, in the season finale of The Haunted Carnival. I rated it a 4 out of 10. Dick Van Dyke had some cool comedy with it. I feel like the style was hit or miss with how it worked with the gang, but overall, it was a pretty good one. And it had some moments that I really enjoyed as well. I think for him, our last one, I'm gonna give him low D because I don't think he's as didn't care for him as I cared for him more than these guys down here, I think. So, finishing it off, I don't think anybody's going to be an S. New Scooby-Doo movies for me were definitely weaker. Some of the 6.5s and 7s are not even an A, which they would usually be, but with the way my rating system works, I think this makes sense to me. Like, there's nothing that I'm really... This is my quintessential rating, how I feel. That's why I made some changes in here and there, because I want to make sure that it's how I feel about it. So, rounding it off, we have Wednesday Addams as my favorite episode of the new Scooby-Doo movies in A. And then B, we have Sonny and Cher in first place. Then we have Batman and Robin the second time. No, the first time. Yeah, the first time. And then Phyllis Diller, Harlem Globetrotters the first time. No, the second time. And then Jonathan Winters and Davy Jones. Then on C tier, first place in C is Speed Buggy. Then Harlem Globetrotters the second time. No, first time. So confusing. And then Three Stooges. And then Jerry Reed, first in D. Then Don Adams. Then Three Stooges once again. Laurel and Hardy. And Tim Conway and Dick Van Dyke. Actually, I'll put Dick Van Dyke in third. I think I liked him more than Three Stooges and Laurel Hardy and Tim Conway. Even though Tim Conway and Dick Van Dyke are tied, I think, no, put him one up there. Yeah, I think it's better. And then on F, we have Harlem Globetrotters in the season 2 premiere. Then Batman and Robin, Don Knotts, Cass Elliot, Don Knotts again, Sandy Duncan, Jan and Babu, and the Josie and the Pussycats. You know what? I really didn't care for Sandy Duncan. I'm going to put her last. Yeah, I think that makes more sense for me. Yep, okay. Yeah, so changing my ratings, I would probably put push up some people like 1 or 2 points, but overall, I feel like this is my quintessential style thing, and I'm of course going to take a picture of it. And whenever I do like a big boy ranking, whenever we have more episodes rated, then I'll do like a quintessential my favorite episodes kind of thing, which would be fun. So this is going to do it for me. Just wanted to keep this one a little bit shorter than last time, because the last time definitely ran a little long. But this one, since I didn't really have as much, excitement about it, because these episodes didn't really do it for me as much. There's definitely some good Bs though. Like my B tier, I'm definitely happy with. I would probably rewatch those for sure. Probably at 2 times speed, like I always watch them, but they still had some fun moments and just ones that were enjoyable for me. And that's just my rankings. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree, or what would you change. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you starting next year with the Scooby-Doo Show Season 3. Thank you everyone for watching, and have a great day.